Well, good morning. 4:44, and yes, as you can see, I have the ambassador on with me, and he promised in the video that we did yesterday that he would be doing an update on world events and things like that in the coming days, and we decided today is that coming day. So, Mr. Ambassador, how would you like to share, or what would you like to share with us this morning?
No, I just want to talk about certain events that's happening around the world and how this type of events affects us and how we can change this type of events for positive and for negative and how to discern truth from lie. Okay, and because these things has to do a lot with the problem that we are facing in this world is that we are so much enslaved to the programming and the propaganda that is feeded us, through the media all the time. And it's a mysterious talk in fashion today about so-called democracies. And we have seen the rise of elections and defrauded elections and freedoms that people wants to have that is not respected by people, and people talking about democracy, and again, the propaganda machine attacking and launching attacks against some parts of the world and then totally ignoring the facts in their own backyard. Okay, and this is one of the reasons that what I wanted to talk. We would go through few things and try to look at it as a perspective of looking through deception and a part of global awakening to take yourself out of ignorance. Okay, and you see, for example, we look now what's happening in Hong Kong. We have been raised, a lot of questions has been coming in about the situation in Hong Kong and democracy and the freedom of, the students and so on and so on. Now, I want us to go back a little bit, just back in history, to the time of Ferguson. Okay, Ferguson, for the people that doesn't know, it was the city in the United States which had a shooting of a young black male, which escalated into demonstrations and even reaching that the police were, using a military type of tactics, basically, and aggressing on the demonstrators and even on the journalists were tear gassed and beaten up. Okay, and now you see the difference here with Hong Kong. You have thousands of people demonstrating on the streets asking for democracy. But do they ask for democracy? Why are they there? What's the reason why they're on the streets? What was the reason also why the people was on the streets in Ferguson? And what was the reason why the people was having the occupied Wall Street? Now we look at, for example, we go back again to the occupied Wall Street. Now you have occupied Central. When the people were beaten up by the police outside, occupied Wall Street, I don't, it was almost nothing in our media showing the aggression of the police on the demonstrators at the Wall Street. Nevertheless, the people that were sitting in their homes in front of the TV and eating burgers and drinking beer and celebrating didn't feel that they needed to get out of their comfort zone to go and help and assist the people being beat up and slaughtered, on the streets there at Wall Street. Now the difference in Hong Kong is that, the kids, what's the reason why they are demonstrating? What is their thing? It's based again about ignorances and programming. Okay, and they believe that. That they are threatened by the Chinese. It's based in racism. It's based in things that they think that they are superior than others, and they are wanting this and wanting that. This is a part of restructuring the Cabal influence, which is in Hong Kong, and these kids are being manipulated and used. But of course, when the police is aggressing on people, in front of other people. People in China raises up and become passionate and support the fellow citizens from difference from what's happening in the United States, where no one basically will not raise from the comfort zone, from the sofa, watching the different daily TV programs, and will make excuses why they can't go and help the people at occupied Wall Street. And then you have people that goes to like places like Ferguson just to rob and loot also. That is, of course, a nice thing to do. But you don't see any loitering going on the streets of Hong Kong. Have you never thought about that? Why is the Chinese people not loitering and breaking through the shops and stealing from each other, raping people around the corners, like they do in the United States when you have a crisis? Now, the thing is this way, is that people needs to use this type of events to reflect on themselves and to reflect on our society. In middle of this mist of Hong Kong problems and Ferguson and things, we had also, as I told you, a historical signing of independence from Catalonia. How was that respected by the Spanish? How was that respected by the Europeans? How was that respected by the international community? So much worried about democracy. Okay? It was not allowed to be taken care of. Demonstrators were going out, lunching, and asking for freedom on the streets. How much did you see that on Fox News and Fox and Friends or on CNN, screaming and shouting about how Spain is oppressing the people of Catalonia and how they don't respect their freedoms? Or how much have you seen about the electoral fraud, what was going on in Scotland? And, you know, what happened with Ukraine these days? Maybe we should bomb that place again, you know, or blow down an airplane and blame it on Putin. I'm reading each time I read, I see statements, I see scenarios with ISIS people being taken in. And they're supposed to shake the hands with women that they're supposedly their defendants, and that creates a problem, and so on and so on. This is all deception. It's a game. And the sad thing is that the ignorant masses sitting and being traumatized by this propaganda do not see through this lies and deception. And that's basically the tool to be able to set yourself free, is to be able to see when it is lies and when it is propaganda. And do not accept, you know, to be what's called filled with hate by this type of propaganda that is fed to you on the daily basis. You know, I believe, of my experience travel around the world, you know, we hear Benjamin Netanyahu, another compulsive liar, sitting and stating that, you know, the biggest problem, forget about ISIS, we have to put the focus on Iran. That's a very dangerous Islamic state. I stated it before. I spent a lot of time there doing my work, and I basically didn't see many Muslims there. You know, I would consider most of the people almost atheist. And once when I was asked to be taken to a mosque, one of the kids told me, why you want to go to a mosque? I only go to the mosque when I need to go to the bathroom. And this is not a joke. You know, the young kids of Iran are more occupied of buying iPhone 6 and buying and shopping and celebrating, just like in the United States, and having fashionable things and drink and take drugs and date a boyfriend and girlfriends. It's more interesting for them than to go to any mosques or care about Islamic fundamentalism. They are being traumatized by these mullahs that the United States put in place there, together with Europe long time ago either way, in this Islamic Republic. Okay, it doesn't exist an Islamic Republic on the planet. And,
well, any time you put a religion in front of republic, it's no longer a republic. Republics are about freedom of religion, and you can't, you know, favor one religion over another. I mean, that's a thing that I've seen when the, you know, the Republic movement in the United States that I was part of. So many people wanted it to be a Christian republic. Well, that's an oxymoron to me.
Yeah. Well, but the problem is this way also, that an Islamic state cannot be a part of the United Nations Security Council, cannot be a part of having another entity ruling other than God. The whole system with what you see in the Muslim world of governments, it's an illusion and it's an antichrist entity. And like a Dajjal, which they're saying in Islam, it's not real. I would recommend many Muslims to listen to Sheikh Imran Hussein. He has, I think, a lot of wise things to teach the Muslim world about Islam, and I recommend it also for non-Muslims to also look at him. He is a very enlightened person. But he's also one that can see through deception. And the thing is this way is that what I'm trying to tell people, I know that some people might be confused because I'm jumping from case to case, but the reason why I'm using these different cases of scenario is that we have to look deeper into what is reality. Okay? When I walk out the street here and people say, oh, this nation is a Christian nation. Really, is it? If you go and ask, people that make comments, I'm a Christian. Okay, fine. Could you tell me about this in the Bible? Could you please explain that for me? No one has a clue. This is programming. You claim to be something, but you have no clue what you're claiming to be. And that's majority of the people on the planet. Yeah. And that's why we need to research. We need to educate. We have to ask ourselves as the students in Hong Kong, what am I scared of? I'm scared of other Chinese. I'm scared of that other Chinese will take my job. I think that I'm more clean. I'm more better than other Chinese people because I'm Cantonese. I was trained, educated by the British. So it makes me more special. Look at Taiwan. They also had the same integration. Did they have any problem? No, they have benefits. You are earning in Hong Kong over 8 billion just in tourism from the Chinese. Okay? You are having a lot of good within it. We need to connect. We need to break borders, not make more borders. Okay? And then we talk about democracy. Yes, we have democracy all around the world. Really, do we? I feel that we are all basically like a prison without we seeing the cages around ourselves sometimes, and we need to get ourselves out and see what can we do to affect. The only way to affect is that to allow ourselves to be set free in our mind and do not cooperate with evil and do not cooperate with ignorance and do not continuously put yourself in this aggressive mood. Okay. And we see, for example, the Vatican now.
What happened to your microphone, Ambassador?
Do you hear me?
I can hear you, but all of a sudden it's muffled.
I don't know.
That's better. That's better.
No, I started talking about the Vatican and the microphone maybe became traumatized. The thing is this way, is that when you look at, for example, the Vatican, okay, they are trying to do changes and they are trying to implement certain type of regulations, and they want to now accept to get some things that is not acceptable by some people to be acceptable, and change things with in relation to homosexuality, change things in relation to convenience, change things in relation to all dogmas and rituals that the Vatican has been part of. Now, and people are screaming and shouting over this. And of course, you could say this way that these things, doesn't have anything to do with Christianity. But it's so many things in Christianity that has nothing to do with Christianity, if you look at it. And if you want to start fighting about one case, you need to look at the whole thing. And I think that this is what is important, is that we need to look at all the things that happen around us these days with open eyes, and look at it and do the research, and not just take things for granted. I want peace. I want people to have prosperity. I want people to be set free from this tyranny. And I want people to basically realize that what we saw, what's happening in China, that this is what should happen. I mean, in Hong Kong, in China, that's also part of China, of course. But I mean, what we saw, what's happening in Hong Kong with people raising up to us, we need to do the same thing. When we see the police
mishandled, because it was a lot of demonic police officers there that did bad things that were totally unprovoked. And also it was a lot of demonstrators that did things that was unprovoked. And I hope these police officers will be taken to justice for the criminal action. And the thing is this way, that we need to make sure that people also raises up and say stop aggression. But we need to know what are we fighting for. We don't need to aggress on each other and make problems about things. When you have one of the, I would say one of the best free countries, I don't see anything more or less free, maybe even more freedom in Hong Kong that I find in any of the European or American cities and countries. And I spent a lot of time also in the United States in the past and same thing, in Europe. And I don't see that Hong Kong or Nice is being in any way more suppressed than any of us. I believe in reality, I think that even they are more free than us, because here we have a tyrannical government taking place, and they take away all our freedoms day by day, and it's just getting worse. And there, basically, we have the same freedoms. But what is the freedom? Okay? This is what is important. What is freedom? And we have to. Yes.
By the way, I mean, I have my volume turned up all the way, and I'm getting you, I'm hearing you, but I'm concerned that it's not as loud as it was at the beginning.
Oh, do you hear me better now?
That's much better, much better.
Yeah. Oh, that's very strange, because it's just that it's the way that I hold my hand that differs for sound for some reason. But the thing is this way, is that like I stated, is that we have to ask ourselves the question, what is freedom? We had a week with a lot of positive things happening for all the different people, with you and with other people that has been struggling and having divine intervention and basically having all these positive energies. At the same time, I have seen these positive energies. I have seen all these negative aggressions around the world. We have seen now United States starting together with their Arab allies to aggress on Syria and committing more war crimes and creating a new spiral of hate and tyranny. And that's just never gonna end. And the thing is this, where you create a boogeyman and then you fight that boogeyman, and in the middle the people are suffering. We have to stop with these things. I think this is, we need also to do like everyone else has done in Hong Kong and in Catalonia, in Barcelona and other places. We need to say to our governments and say that we had enough, okay? But we have to fight for the real problems, for the real reasons, not to destabilize. And also, I wouldn't be very, very surprised if it's the Cabal 100% behind the alterating and troubles that we see in Hong Kong. Rest assured they are, as they are also behind the troubles that is in Catalonia, because they know and taunt the people that they will never give them freedom. And they want to show the world and show the family that humanity is in such a primitive stage that they don't deserve freedom. Maybe they don't want to show the world that they don't even deserve to live, most of humans, because they're so ignorant. And that's what I want everyone to do, is to do a soul search. Go and look yourself in the mirror, as I said so many times. Reflect on yourself and reflect on your community and reflect on your country and reflect on your neighbors and reflect on humanity. How can we do that? We can work as one unity to set humanity free. With all this news of troubles all around the world and Ebola spreading, you know how I was struggling to try to assist with the Ebola thing, and it's just going out of hand because the Cabal wants it to go out of hand. And I want humanity to wake up and say that it's not a coincidence that these things is going off and now suddenly it starts spreading. Wake up. Do you really believe in these stories? Go into Fox News and whip them like the Taliban. You understand? Because they're such a compulsive liars. And this is the problem with our media. They think that we are stupid. But I believe that people has now been waking up. I think that people don't accept their lies anymore. People doesn't believe in their phony stories and excuses anymore. And I believe that we are, getting ourselves out of this nonsense that they have created. And I believe that we're gonna be able to set ourselves free the time when we stop listening to their lies and tell them we had enough of you people. Unsubscribe to Fox, unsubscribe to CNN and this type of nonsense propaganda things of the New York Times and Washington Times and BBC and all the other Cabal companies. When you see it's a Cabal corporation, just immediately block it. You understand? And then maybe these people realize that we don't want their McDonald's culture anymore. We don't want their fast food to cough and to die mentality anymore. We had enough. We have real problems. We have real enemies like Monsanto, like McDonald's, like other corporations, and that is killing us slowly day by day, and our children. And we have to, if we want to talk about corruption and democracy, I think the United States need to look at themselves and reflect and change the whole political system. And United States was created by the Cabal, still controlled by the Cabal. And to be able to set free, you need to maybe reorganize yourselves. And the same thing is with Europe. Europe is an utterly mess this time, and they need to be to put themselves into order to set themselves free. And we have some good people. We have some good politicians that is coming out and telling the truths, and we have people that is trying to do the best. So unite with them, support them, and set humanity free. This is what I wanted to say. And I hope I was not jumping back and forward too much. And I'm sorry for my English. I hope I was understood by everyone. And but at least I'm trying. I'm not like Benjamin Fulford, that is a journalist. So you have to excuse me if I'm not. And also I don't sit and write down things. So I just talk from my heart, giving my report of the reflection of the things that I'm dealing with the last week and what I probably will be dealing with this coming week too. And let's hope for the best, because there's a lot of positive things happening right now. But I just don't want the negative things that's happening in the world to affect us in a spiritual and a mindset, which is a negative spiral of hate and frustration. We need to stop with that.
Yeah, I will want to say two things. The first I'm going to say is about Hong Kong, and it's the story that I already told you about. I was at Walmart the other day buying some Epsom salts, and the lady who was the cashier was named Wu, W-O-O, and she was a little Oriental woman, and I asked her if she was from China, and she said, I'm from Hong Kong. And I says, oh, I just was on with the Red Dragon from the Hong Kong area earlier today. And she looked at me, and I says, the Dragon family. And she gave me such a funny look. And I want you to just share your comment about why she may have been giving me a funny look. She didn't explain, and I didn't ask her to. It was have a good night, and I was gone. But
no, I was having a real laugh because I think that you were traumatizing the poor woman. She was seeing you there, and you said you were speaking to the Red Dragon, and don't you know the Dragon family? She was thinking that, God Lord, here you have a guy that's speaking to the tongue of a Chinese mafia there, and she was probably being traumatized, wondering what type of criminal you are, like a Hong Kong mafia guy coming over. So the Red Dragon, as you know, it is a code for a specific entity, and the red is symbolizing a color and a district, and the dragon is of course representing the royal families, but also the mafia groups like Yakuza and Tong and similar type of, they also using dragon symbolism for themselves, so they're also called dragons and head of dragons. So maybe she thought that you were in direct contact with some mafia lord in Hong Kong, and If you would say that, the family name of a person, and maybe she would realize and understand you better. But when you just said that way, the way that you said it, I think that she maybe was confused with you being working together with mafia or something.
I thought that was an interesting exchange with her, and of course, we didn't go into any real detail or depth. But in any case, the other thing that I wanted to say, you said that the United States was founded by the Cabal.
Mm.
Yes, was the Illuminati present at the founding of the United States? Yes, they were. But I honestly believe some of our forefathers had really high ideals, and I still see the founding of the United States initially, the Declaration of Independence, and some of the early things that happened as laying a foundation that the whole world can learn from, and it's a spiritual foundation of self-governance and of honest government that they actually provided for us. That's just an observation and another perspective on this nation.
I believe that the way that things are presented sometimes makes sense. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is different, and one day maybe in the future things will be more obvious. Of security reasons, I cannot go into great details about certain things, but it's a lot of things in your nation's history that the people of America and even historians in America is completely ignorant to, because it is a part of the secrets. And the same thing is not only with with the United States, that's with most of the countries. And it's a lot of people that is talking about debt and that debt is fraud and debt is this. So that
I will say all debt is fraud.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody else thinks. That to me, that's the reality. Debt is believing that somebody has something to give to somebody else and loan it. It's to be shared, not loaned, shared.
And this is the good thing to take up an argument about with the United States, is that if you look at the situation, is that since the time of the forefathers and the different battles that you guys had, you had to take loans, and these loans were taken by guaranteed by land and taken by guaranteed with certain things. And even this, what has been done is that most of these things have not been paid, not even the interest on it, and the debt has just been going larger and larger and larger and larger, and in the end the people became even a collateral, and now it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's why a part of settling the debt that needs to be settled first in the Jubilee is the personal debt of the people, because you cannot, as when we talk about original sin, it's not like when you take a little child and the first thing you say when you hold this little child is, "Oh, what an evil-looking child." You understand? This child doesn't symbolize, when you have this baby in your hand, does it symbolize an evil person? And do you say, when you look at this, you have a very evil-looking child in your hand? You usually say it's like a cute, innocent-looking child. But with the mindset that you're born with sin and the mindset you're born with debt from your forefather, that's a Christian concept for you. But
it's a distorted concept.
Yeah. But the thing is this way: I do not believe in that. But the problem is this way, that it doesn't matter what we believe, because the reality, unfortunately, is a different thing. As long as the system make this a reality, as long as they implement it as a reality for us, it's unfortunately traumatizing for us, because that becomes a part of our reality. And the thing is that people doesn't even realize that they are slaves, and that's what is the sad thing. And that's a part of sitting free from the financial tyranny. Tyranny is to be awakened to the fact that in reality we are born with debt and that we are slaves. And when people realize that on all levels, then it's like we're saying that in the end times, it would be the greatest slavery on the planet, but people will not even realize that they are slaves, and we are at that stage today. And we need to waken up to that mindset and see what we do. And also people have to realize I'm not in any way anti-American. I'm anti-stupid. And you know, if people say that I'm anti-European, I'm anti my own country many times, and I can care less for these countries, these corporations, and these governments, and these people like that. I believe that many of them are completely retarded, and I believe that many of them are extremely evil people, and some of them should be locked up a long time ago and need to be reflecting on their actions, that they have committed the crimes against humanity. And that's a personal feeling that I have. I don't favorizing any nation, but what I favorizing is that we, as human beings all over the world, should unite and work together to set ourselves free and basically settle and cancel and agree to cancel our personal debts, because the personal debts has nothing to do with us. You know, we didn't, you know, I cannot be, you know, responsible, or my children cannot be responsible for my actions. And that's a thing that we need to look at. But unfortunately, our forefathers decided that that's the system, and that's our politicians says that that should be continued. And with that type of mindset, without even people knowing that that's the system, how can we be free?
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing that you all need to do, is to tell other people, explain for other people, and research and show other people how reality is. Unfortunately, I know it's a lot of people that doesn't care, and it's a lot of people who doesn't want to listen. And but you know, let them be living in their little Disneyland, and you know, they would be very soon awakened to their reality, whether they like it or not.
Well, thank you. I know I took you a little bit longer than you were ready to wrap up 10 minutes ago, but I kept you going. So anyway, I do thank you for the time that you've spent with us, and I hope that people reflect on the things that you've shared, and I know a lot of people do. So you have a beautiful day, and on that note, I'm just going to say goodbye for now, and namaste.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.